Alright, we're back in Jujutsu Kaisen reviews. This is my review of episode 14. Just to start off, recently, Gege did confirm that he was inspired by Bleach significantly, so I'm glad I called that out when I did. It was pretty clear, those early episodes are very reminiscent of Ichigo kind of fighting hollows and stuff, the kind of episodic open. Monster of the Week is what they usually call it. But this story is much faster than Bleach. This is basically like, what if Ichigo got his powers and then Rukia was immediately taken to the Soul Society and Ichigo went there and fought. Like, that's basically the speed at which the story is moving. This episode was really just here to establish and set everything up for the second half of the season, I guess. I don't know how all this was handled in the manga since I don't read it, but I don't think they could have found a better place to kind of split the season in half than the way they did it and where they did it. So we open the episode in a hot spring. We see Jogo there. He's smoking a curse pipe. It has like a face and a brain. I don't know if it's just a curse or if it's a human curse that Mahito transmuted or whatever the fuck, but he's smoking it and it says no as he's smoking it. Speaking of Mahito, he and Geto arrive. Mahito pulls his clothes off and jumps in the spring, and he's kind of bathing around, and he comments that Jogo has regenerated his body all the way, and then Jogo makes note of the fact that Mahito is also in kind of a damaged state. Mahito reveals that not only does he consider Itadori his natural enemy, but also Sakuna is, and I imagine that that's because Sakuna just didn't go along with his plans the way that Mahito wanted them to, or well, their plans, I guess. Revealing that he seems to actually understand Sakuna quite well from his limited interactions. He seems like he thinks he has a very good grasp on Sakuna's personality. Because he comments that he should have maybe just injured Junpei and then Sakuna could have healed him, but he remarks that even then Sakuna probably wouldn't have wanted to do it. It wasn't a matter of whether or not he could, it's just he didn't want to because Sakuna's a prick. He tells Jogo that they need to go with Geto's plan for sure because he's positive that Sakuna will bring about the age of curses that they're hoping for. And Jogo kind of smiles and he says, it's fine if I'm not the one there laughing to do it. So apparently all of these cursed spirits are resolved to be martyrs and just die so long as they meet their goals, which is weird. They're basically the protagonists of the story. They're selflessly giving their lives to meet a goal, even though the goal is evil. And meanwhile, the protagonists so far, I'm not going to say they don't have agency, but they certainly aren't, they don't have an end goal in mind yet. They certainly aren't willing to die for a particular cause. They would be willing to die for each other or to save somebody, but they don't have an overarching goal yet. And that's just weird. It's a weird thing to see. Someone's willing to die to meet their goal. They get no satisfaction if they die on the way. They don't even know if their goal is met. That's just a strange and different thing. I think that I like it, but I'm very curious to see how this progresses in the future and see these characters kind of reveal more of this. I'd like a full episode with just the antagonists exploring their personalities. I want to know why they're so resolved to die to see this end. Like, Jogo got into a little bit with his philosophy that curses are true and humans are false and stuff, and that's very interesting, but I still don't understand why he's willing to die for this when he won't get any satisfaction. It's just so different. But I do like it. It's interesting. Geto says that they're going to need to ascertain the 6 fingers that Jujutsu Tech has, and they're going to basically try to get all of the fingers together and offer them up to Sakuna all at once so that he joins their side. And they kind of talk about that. Geto seems to know that the people that are running the Jujutsu schools aren't going to let Itadori eat the fingers until all of them are acquired, so they can kill him immediately after eating them. Obviously, because Sakuna gets stronger with each one, so it'll be harder and harder for Itadori to control them. If he has like 18, Sakuna, he might not be able to hold Sakuna back at all, and then they're not even going to be able to get to 20 to kill him. Gojo, on the other hand, would rather just feed him to Itadori immediately, and I assume that that's just because he figures Itadori can handle it. It's also worth noting that Geto seems to know a lot about Gojo, so obviously he was with Jujutsu Tech at some point, and I think it was mentioned that he was the one who did the event that made Toto famous when he fought like a bunch of curses. So I'm very interested to know what the fuck is Geto's backstory and stuff and how he's involved in all this shit. I'm still getting used to this opening. I don't dislike it, I just need time to acclimate to it. I didn't really have much of an opinion on the first one either. This one I think is better, but I need more time with it. Nanami and Gojo are together, and you don't actually see it very often that they're together in the story. I mean, we've really only just met Nanami, but yeah, we haven't got too much of those two together, but they have really good chemistry for that, and they should because they were apparently friends at one point. Gojo's bored, and he kind of just talks about that he wants them to play a game or something. I can't remember exactly what he's talking about. He just wants to kind of fuck around. He's, you know, as Nanami remarked, he's similar to Mahito. He just wants to have fun and stuff. He's kind of more of a laid-back, carefree person. Nanami's worried about Itadori's state, given all the things that happened with Yoshino, but he thinks that Gojo's personality will kind of cheer Itadori up and bring him out of his dark place and stuff. So he thinks it's good that Gojo be around him for a bit. They aren't going to tell him about Yoshino's mother being attacked due to a finger. Now, I thought Yoshino already told him all that. So Itadori not knowing about the finger and Yoshino's mother's death due to... It's just weird. Why did they cut out Yoshino telling Itadori what happened and then we find... It's just weird. This is so weird that they did all this. I understand them not telling him about it because he'd be emotional, but I figured Yoshino already told him. It's just... It's so weird. It's so bizarre. Gojo Nanami's concerned about Itadori being revealed to be alive at the thing because he knows that he'll just be targeted by the people running Jujutsu Tech again. But Gojo thinks he can handle it now. Whether that means he's strong enough or mature enough, I don't know, maybe both. But he thinks he can definitely handle being the target of a lot of these people now. Itadori rushes in and sees Nanami and Gojo there, and he seems like he's back to normal. He's very excited to see Fushiguro and Nobara. Gojo tells him to wait and that he should make it a surprise. Clearly wanting to make it a big fair and event and have fun with it because that's just his personality. It's very in his character. They have a kind of a comedic scene there. They have this, he goes on a tangent about how everyone's reactions will be and what the after effects will be, and one of the things he says that it'll be so heartwarming and stuff that it's so cool that it solves global warming, and then you see the Earth with some sunglasses say cool. I thought that was really funny. We cut to Nobara, and she has a suitcase and a bag, and she gets up to a shrine or something, and she's kind of surprised that no one else has any stuff, and she asks them why they aren't packed, because she thought they were going to Kyoto, and then Panda reveals that they're having the Kyoto meeting in Japan, and she kind of gets pissed off and shit. They mention Okatsu Yuta. That's Okatsu that Toto was mentioning before. They showed like a curse behind him, but we still don't really know what the fuck his story is, or who he is, or what the fuck happened. So I'm just really wanting to know what the fuck he is and why he keeps getting mentioned. Kyoto sorcerers show up. A robot is one of them. There were too many here to get into. I figure I'll just cover them later as, or because they're gonna stick around throughout this arc. So I figure I'll just talk about them as they get focused throughout this arc. The blue-haired girl's back. Her name is Miwa Kasumi. Now, I thought she was just like an assistant. I knew she was a student, but I thought she was just like an assistant to the principal. I didn't know she was a fighter. So that's weird, because she has such a, like, not impressive character design. She doesn't stand out. She doesn't look like a fighter. She's kind of a masculine build, but that's just normal for the female characters in this series. So it's just weird, I thought. And then a shrine maiden shows up with a scar. She's, I don't know, I didn't pay attention to her name or her title, but she's a Jujutsu sorcerer as well, I believe. Gojo arrives with a box with these, like, dolls on them, and the box clearly is going to have Itadori in it. Miwa and the Shrine Maiden both say Gojo's name, and they have different reactions. The Shrine Maiden says it, and she's kind of, like, disgusted, or it's a negative. She says it in a negative way, and Miwa says it in a positive way. I thought that was really funny. He gives the dolls to the Kyoto students only, I think. And I think he says they have protective charms or something. I can't quite remember. But then Itadori pops out of the box, and he's excited to see Nobara and Fushiguro. And he's kind of dancing, and he says something, happy op or something. But Nobara and Fushiguro are just kind of creeped out and, like, shocked. They aren't really happy to see him, so Itadori gets kind of depressed. And then Gojo turns Itadori to the Kyoto students and introduces him as Sakuna's vessel. But they're so absorbed in the dolls that they don't really pay attention. And then the Kyoto principal freaks out that Itadori's still alive. And the Jujutsu principal's right there with him, which I love his personality, so I'm glad he's back on the story finally, because I hadn't seen him in so long. And then Gojo gets in the Kyoto principal's face and kind of mocks him that he thought Itadori was dead. Nobara's kind of aggravated that Itadori didn't tell them, so she goes and kicks the box that he's in, and she's just kind of like, I don't remember what she says exactly, but he apologizes to her. And then it's revealed that this event is going to take 2 days. They're having a curse exorcism race, and that's the first event. Apparently what it is they're going to release curses 2nd and 3rd grade and have them be hunted down by the students, and whoever kills more or something wins. This seems really dangerous. Like, I know the 2nd and 3rd aren't that strong, but they're still curses. I mean, they're still dangerous. So I think this is strange and bizarre. The teams are told that they can sabotage each other. So it's obviously going to be a civil conflict. The curses are just kind of a backdrop, a common enemy that are just going to get in the way. And then it's showing the principals grappling with Gojo. I thought that was a funny scene. Again, I enjoy his personality. Gojo seems to just be kind of the central figure for a lot of people. A lot of people have really good interactions with him specifically. We cut to Itadori and he's holding like this black frame, and I didn't know what it was at first, but I think what it is in a lot of anime and stuff, when you see a dead person, they'll have like a black frame and have the person's picture and then candles and stuff. And they didn't have that set up. They just had Itadori holding the black frame, but it was around his head. So I think that's what it was. Is it was like a funeral frame, or not a funeral, a memorial frame, I think. But I'm not sure. I'm not Japanese, so that was my interpretation. Itadori finally meets the other Kyoto, or the other Jujutsu Tech Tokyo students. And I knew he'd have some good chemistry with them, especially Panda. And he kind of is like, whoa, talking Panda, and then he hears Togi, I think is his name, or Toge. He starts, reciting his ingredients and shit. He's just kind of confused by it, and we get a more proper explanation on Toge's abilities about exactly why he has to limit his speech. It's because he can't really control like the power that his words have, and so not only could him saying something affect people around him that he doesn't want to affect, it can also affect himself, and he can put himself under the spell of his speech. And then Maki asks for the knife back that Itadori had. The cursed spirit broke from the prison. And so, I forget what she called it, Demon's Bane or something, I can't quite remember. But it's funny to realize that it was hers, and I could have picked up on that had I thought about it, but I really didn't think about it at all. He kind of thinks about what would happen if he tells her, and that she'd be extremely pissed off and probably kill him, so he just tells her that Gojo still has it. And she kind of remarks, I forget what she says exactly, but she makes a negative remark about Gojo. I think Panda asks Maki, or Panda asks Itadori kind of what he can do, what he can contribute to the team, and he kind of just says, I can punch and kick. And then that kind of Panda says, well, we have enough of that. And then Fushiguro says essentially that if nobody had any powers and they all fought, Itadori could beat them all, or he could beat them all at the same time, or something like that. Basically, he's remarking on Itadori's abnormal strength, his abnormal physical abilities. And Maki says, well, given that he fought Todo, that's a good sign for us. Then we cut to the Kyoto people, and naturally the principal wants him dead, and they're going to go and kill him. That's the only thing they need to worry about. They don't need to worry about winning. I like the character with the broom. She looks interesting. Her design in particular stands out to me. She seems like a fun character. She's kind of laid back. She doesn't just, I want to kill people and torture them and all that shit. So she's different. I like her and Miwa. Like, Todo will probably grow on me over time. We get a reveal that a curse energy can come, or the curse user can come back as a curse if not killed by curse energy. And so one of the reasons Itadori could come back is because he committed suicide, apparently. Because he ripped out his heart and died from just not having a heart. He wasn't killed by cursed energy. So that's interesting. Todo kicks the door out and just tells him he's not interested in participating in the meeting, and he's just going to do his own thing. Currently he's going to go and watch the actress he likes from the other episode. So he's leaving, and Kamo, he's like looks like a samurai. He's got these baggy clothes on and stuff. He kind of tries to stop him and tells Todo that he needs to work with him and stuff. And Todo basically tells them all to go fuck themselves, even the principal. And they kind of talk, the principal leaves, they talk some more, trying to make a plan, and Como kind of says, as the eldest son of the Como clan, it's my responsibility to destroy Sakuna, or something like that. And basically he appoints himself the leader of the team, and as they're all coming up with different plans of what to do, he just tells them, no, we're going to all attack Itadori at the same time to ensure that he's killed, basically. And they remark that Todo is also going to attack them because he just wants to see how strong everyone is. so they can plan around Toto. Gojo, we cut to Gojo and the Shrine Maid, and he reveals that he knows someone that knows of the inner workings of the Jujutsu Sorcerers organization, is working with the cursed spirits, and that's how they're kind of knowing how to work around them and stuff. He doesn't know the extent of it yet, I don't think, but they targeted Itadori and Gojo specifically. It's kind of what he can tell, so they know what they're doing. The maiden throws her drink at Gojo because he makes a remark about her not being powerful enough or something to betray them. I can't remember. But it's worth noting that it bounces off of his infinity barrier, meaning he always has it up all the time. We get cut back to Fushiguro and Itadori, and Fushiguro can tell that something's wrong with Itadori. He can kind of see through his veneer of being upbeat and happy that he's troubled. And Itadori kind of tries to deny it, but then he confirms that he did have some stuff happen, but he's just trying to fight through it, and he just wants to protect people now and make sure that nothing bad ever happens again. And Fushiguro is kind of resolved to do the same thing. Itadori kind of tries to take the lead of the team and tries to go out first, but Maki kicks him and tells him that he's not the leader, and who should he be to be in front. And then we get to see the new ending. Don't like it as much as Lost in Paradise. Lost in Paradise is really fun. If I look into come back to one thing from this series as far as openings and endings, it'll definitely be Lost in Paradise. Endings aren't usually as memorable as openings, but in this case, that one really stood out for me. I usually really like anime openings. I'm waiting to see if this one will, I already talked about that. That said, it does have a somber tone. I think that fits kind of where this series has been going. Especially given that Itadori is currently trying to suppress and hide how kind of fucked up he is on the inside and how sad he is and shit, and how much this stuff has been affecting him. And then we cut to the ending scene, and it's just Toto watching the woman, and she's drunk. It's pretty funny. She's in a restaurant, and she keeps saying stuff, and then this other guy keeps remarking. It's kind of it's not exactly like a foil and straight man type of dynamic, but he's just being serious and just, I guess, commenting for the viewers as to what the ridiculous shit is that she's doing. And yeah, that's about it. I liked this episode, but like I said, it was really just used to set stuff up. The next episode, the fighting should begin, so I hope I'll have more to talk about.